Lil Poppa, born Janarius Wheeler, has died at the age of 25.
Oh my God, no, serious.
You'll be proud of me, OG. Woke up, read me a Bible verse, got some breakfast in my system.
I want to give a, TIP Thug in Peace to Lil Poppa, man. I'm my little nigga, right?
The internet moves fast. 1 minute an artist is promoting new music, sharing clips from the studio, and talking about the future. The next minute, their name is trending for a reason nobody expected. That's exactly how the world learned that Lil Poppa, one of Jacksonville's most respected young storytellers, was gone. Just days before his death, his tweets had already started to feel different. Not promotional, not celebratory, just raw and unsettling. At one point he wrote, "I'm scared to go to sleep." In another post he admitted, "I'm lonely, bro." And then there was the line that would haunt fans once the news broke. Somebody gonna die. 72 hours later, Lil Poppa was found dead in Atlanta at just 25 years old. To people who only saw the headlines, it felt shocking.
Man, any young niggas on here right now, it's more to life, man. It's more to life.
I'm finna get out this bitch, cause y'all negative. Oh my mama, y'all come out Lil Poppa.
How could someone who made it out of one of the toughest cities in America, signed a deal with Yo Gotti's powerful CMG label, and built millions of streams across the internet, still end up losing everything so young? But to truly understand how this story ended the way it did, you have to rewind. You have to go back to the beginning. Because Lil Poppa's life was never just about rap success or viral songs. It was a story shaped by survival, grief, guilt, and a trauma that never really let him go. Lil Poppa, born Janarius Genius Wheeler, grew up in Jacksonville, Florida, a city known for producing tough survivors. Jacksonville has long carried one of the highest murder rates in the country. For many kids growing up there, life is a daily balancing act between dreams and danger. One wrong moment, one wrong street, one wrong argument, and everything can change forever. Poppa's childhood was split between two different worlds. On one side was his mother's home on Jacksonville's east side. On the other was his grandmother's house on the west side. Both places offered love and family.
Oh my mama, like I'm not even playing. Oh my mama. Oh my God.
Mixtape, whichever one it's gonna be, I got one more. And it's over, I'm going to find my peace.
But outside those doors, the reality of the streets was impossible to ignore. His mother tried to keep him focused on faith and positivity. She brought him to church regularly, hoping that environment would keep him away from the chaos that swallowed up so many young men in the city. And surprisingly, that's where his journey with music began. At just 6 years old, Poppa was already performing Christian rap inside church. While most kids his age were shy about standing in front of a crowd, he looked completely natural with a microphone in his hand. There was confidence in him, a presence that made people stop and listen. His older brother helped guide him further into music, showing him the basics and encouraging him to keep writing. And Poppa ran with it. The more he practiced, the more it became clear to everyone around him that this wasn't just a hobby. It felt like purpose. But even with music keeping him focused, life wasn't easy. Poppa was also battling a chronic blood disease that often left him physically drained. There were days when he couldn't even leave his bed, sometimes for weeks at a time. For most young kids, something like that could easily crush their motivation. But
No, serious. No.
The God about it, you know what I'm saying? And he laid it on me. I got one more album, EP.
But not him. Instead, he turned his grandmother's closet into a tiny home studio. When he was too sick to go outside, he would record music right there between hanging clothes and cramped walls. It wasn't glamorous, but it was his escape. The world outside his home was still violent and unpredictable. Shootings, arrests, and funerals were part of the environment he grew up around. Those experiences slowly shaped the kind of music he would eventually become known for. By the time he was 14 years old, Lil Poppa released his first official music video. That moment started a ripple effect across Jacksonville's rap scene. People quickly noticed that his songs weren't built around flashy lifestyles or empty bragging. His music felt real. Every verse carried emotion. Every story sounded like something he had actually lived through. And in a city where authenticity means everything, that honesty made people pay attention. his name started spreading across the local rap scene. More songs, more videos, more fans discovering his work. It felt like the beginning of something special. But in 2018, everything changed. That year would become the moment that defined the rest of his life. One night, Lil Poppa was hanging out with several of his closest friends. These weren't just casual acquaintances. They were the people he grew up with, the ones who had been by his side for years, the kind of friends who felt more like brothers. Then suddenly, gunfire erupted. According to reports, their group was ambushed in a drive-by shooting. Bullets tore through the scene, shattering windows and sending everyone scrambling in panic. What started as a normal moment between friends turned into pure chaos within seconds. When the gunfire finally stopped, the aftermath was devastating. Multiple members of his crew were dead. Friends who had shared years of memories with him were suddenly gone forever. But the detail that haunted Poppa the most was this: he survived without a single scratch. Not one bullet hit him. Among the victims were people he loved deeply, including close friend CP. Another friend, Chevy, was reportedly shot while trying to protect Poppa during the attack. That fact alone would stay with him for years. From that moment on, something inside him changed. The question began replaying endlessly in his mind. Why them and not me? That question became the core of what psychologists call survivor's guilt. It's a painful emotional condition where someone who survives a tragedy feels responsible for the people who didn't. For Lil Poppa, that guilt never truly faded. Instead, he turned it into music. Not long after the tragedy, he released a song called Purple Hearts. The track wasn't just another rap record. It sounded more like a confession. In one of the most emotional lines, he rapped about wondering why the bullets missed him and admitted he sometimes wished they hadn't. That level of honesty struck a nerve with listeners. The song exploded online, eventually racking up millions of views and becoming one of the most defining tracks of his career. Ironically, the worst moment of his life had created the song that made him famous. But fame didn't heal the pain behind it. Every time he performed the track, he had to relive that night all over again. Still, his career continued to grow. In 2019, he secured a deal tied to Interscope Records, a major step for a young artist from Jacksonville. The industry had officially taken notice. Then came an even bigger moment.
Always supported me, looked up to me, man. Always came to boost it, babe.
In 2022, Yo Gotti signed Lil Poppa to CMG, Collective Music Group. At the time, CMG had become one of the most influential labels in hip-hop, home to artists like Moneybagg Yo and 42 Dugg. Getting signed by Gotti meant entering the big leagues. For Poppa, it was the kind of opportunity many artists dream about their entire lives. The kid who once recorded songs in a cramped closet was now working in professional studios with million-dollar budgets. His streaming numbers skyrocketed. Fans across the country were discovering his music. On the surface, it looked like he had finally escaped the struggles of his past. But success doesn't erase trauma. Behind the scenes, the same memories from 2018 still followed him everywhere. The survivor's guilt never truly went away. His chronic illness continued to affect him physically. And now he was dealing with the pressure of fame on top of everything else. The music industry moves fast. Labels expect constant releases. Fans want new content every week. Artists are expected to stay strong no matter what they're dealing with personally. Poppa carried all of that while still battling his inner demons. His mixtape series, Under Investigation, gave fans a deeper look into his mindset. The songs touched on grief, trust issues, depression, and the emotional toll of losing friends to violence. People admired him for being so open about mental health, something many rappers rarely discuss. But those same songs also revealed how much pain he was still carrying. By 2025, he released an album called Almost Normal Again. Even the title sounded like someone searching for peace, but not quite reaching it. Almost normal, not fully healed, just close enough to keep trying. In the weeks leading up to his death, his social media posts began raising quiet concerns. Some tweets hinted at loneliness and exhaustion. Others suggested he was struggling emotionally in ways fans didn't fully understand at the time. Looking back now, those messages feel chilling. Because on February 18, 2026, the unthinkable happened. At 11:23 in the morning in Fulton County, Georgia, Jarius Lil Poppa Wheeler was pronounced dead at the age of 25. Reports from people close to him suggested the cause may have been self-inflicted, though the full details were never publicly confirmed. Regardless of the specifics, the result was the same. Another young voice in hip-hop was gone far too soon. What made the loss even harder to process was that just 3 days earlier, Poppa had released a brand new single. He was still recording, still creating, still planning for the future. From the outside, everything looked fine, but the truth was far more complicated. Lil Poppa's story highlights a painful reality that many people don't talk about enough. Surviving violence doesn't mean escaping its emotional damage. Trauma can stay buried inside someone for years before it finally becomes overwhelming. Poppa survived the streets of Jacksonville. He survived illness. He survived a shooting that killed the people closest to him. But the emotional weight of those experiences never stopped following him. Even so, his impact remains powerful. Through his music, he gave a voice to people dealing with grief, depression, and survivor's guilt. His honesty created a connection with fans who felt like he understood their struggles better than anyone else. His life may have been short, but the message inside his music continues to resonate with millions of listeners. And maybe that's the most important part of his story. Because sometimes the people who look the strongest on the outside are carrying the heaviest battles on the inside. Lil Poppa's story is heartbreaking, but it's also a reminder to check on the people around us. A reminder that fame and success don't always equal happiness. And a reminder that talking about mental health should never be seen as weakness. His voice came from pain, but it spoke truth to the world. And that truth will continue to live on through every song he left behind. If this story impacted you, I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think the music industry and communities like the one Lil Poppa came from are doing enough to support artists dealing with trauma and mental health struggles? And what do you think his legacy will ultimately be in hip-hop? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more deep storytelling videos like this, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next story.